I wanted to let you know that my merch has moved over to a different site. For the longest time, I was just running my merch through Teespring. It was fairly easy to use, but over the years I've had problem after problem. They continue to just keep putting their prices up and up and up, and I always have mine set to like the lowest amount of profit anyway, just because I don't want to overcharge for like t-shirts and hoodies and things. But it got to a point where they would be changing the prices without me, and I think I was making like £0.002 per thing, and it was just getting ridiculous. So I wanted to change. I've had a variety of different issues with them. They would delete listings of merch and designs that I wanted on there, and then I'd look and there wouldn't be any on there. So I wanted to change, but I've not been able to find a good alternative. But the one I found I'm really happy with. They are way more eco-friendly, sustainable, and if you have your item for a while and it starts to get a bit worn, which it shouldn't do because it does feel like really good quality, but if that does happen you can return it to them and they will recycle that to be made into other t-shirts and things. So a lot better, a lot more sustainable. But all of my original old designs are on there, like the Ask Me About My Rats and Better Together, and also the Hello I Am, a rat, mom, parent, dad. All of those are still on there, but I thought I'd have a bit of fun and design some new ones. So I'm not sure why I didn't wear this for this clip. I will put this on in the rest of the video, but this is the first one. It says, "This is my rat cuddling shirt," and we also have "This is my rat cuddling hoodie" with two little rats I designed myself. And then we also have a very similar version with different rats on that says, "This is my rat cleaning shirt." And then along a similar line we also have this. This is a tote bag that says, "I'm spending all of my money on my rats," because if you're like me, when you're in the shops out and about, you're always constantly thinking, oh, I could buy that for the rats, or I could use this in this way for the rats. So I wanted something to represent that, and we have this tote bag. So 2 new t-shirts, a tote bag and hoodies, and all of my old designs are now on the new website. I will link that in the description and go through all of my old videos and read you the link for that instead of the Teespring one. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys like the new designs. I was just getting sick and tired of not being able to use the other websites, so hopefully, fingers crossed, this is going to be better, and also better for the environment too. There we go, this is my rat cuddling shirt. Now, in the last vlog I was sent a bunch of 3D printed foraging toys for the rats and also for the mice by a company called Print A Lot. I will link them down in the description. I think a couple of you bought them after I showed them in the last vlog, and I'm still so impressed. So gonna put them in and see what they think. Time that I share some things that have been happening while still keeping it vague enough for other people that are involved that don't want their entire life plastered online. Pudding, please be careful. Oh my goodness, you're too old to be scaling the entire rat cage. But yeah, I just wanted to catch you up to speed with a few things that have been happening. I feel like I owe it to you guys, especially those of you that have been really supportive when it comes to the rescue side of things. Everything is connected. YouTube, my store, my personal life, now the rescue. Everything kind of relies on the other things to function and work, for something else to happen and work. So everything has been kind of interconnected. But let's start with the rescue side of things. This goes back to about November, December time last year. I think the last time I updated you, I was talking about how we had raised enough funds to order an enclosure, a big outdoor run type setup, and I'd ordered it and I was really excited, and then I've not really said anything since. So back in November time is when we ordered the enclosures, and the plan with the rescue was that I was always going to handle mostly the social media side, the website, the taking pictures, handling all of the adoption forms and communicating with people. That was more so going to be my role with things, and it has ended up that I've also ended up doing all of the animal care as well, which we'll get onto in a second. But we ordered the enclosures back in November, and to the best of my knowledge at the time, we had full permission to use that land and run the rescue on that land. And I was really excited. I was so grateful. I'm still really grateful that we managed to raise so much money for that, so I was really excited. So that ended up not happening. Shortly after I ordered the enclosures, the permission to use that land was actually revoked, and that left me in an awkward position because I had ordered these enclosures from someone to be custom built, and I hate letting people down. I hate disappointing people. It is not in my nature at all, so I felt really guilty having to say to him, sorry, we can't at the moment take these because I now have nowhere to put them. And it also left me scrambling, running around, trying to think of a plan B, because I've started this. Once I start something, I really hate not following it through. So I was like, where am I supposed to be putting this rescue? Because my garden is tiny. I don't have a plan B. So this was kind of all unfolding in December. I had a very stressful December. I'm not sure if you can tell from the videos back then, but I was just completely stressed. So that was that. It is what it is. I still have all of the original donations in the rescue bank account from that specific fundraiser, ready to go, ready to be used on that specific reason. But I was just left scrambling, trying to come up with an alternative solution. I didn't really enjoy Christmas very much because I was so stressed about the fact that, one, so many kind people had donated for this specific thing, and I really wanted to follow through as quickly as possible. And also the fact that we were starting to get so many requests to take in rabbits and guinea pigs quite often, and I didn't have anywhere to put them. Time is kind of the essence with how many animals are being dumped, and I was just having to say no to everything because I had nowhere to put anything. So my original solution to this, and this is not a smart business choice at all, I was definitely leading with my heart and not my brain on this one, but the plan when we moved into this house was always to use the side of the house. That's about 20 feet or so down the side of the house. We were always going to build me an office out there, and that was going to be my office for my store with all my products and everything. And we've been in this house now for about 2 years, and obviously that doesn't exist at all. We did get a couple of quotes to do this, and it was way more expensive than we first thought. So I've been saving and kind of putting it off, and obviously that is not done at all. So my thought process with this was, instead of building me an office down the side of the house, if you're watching this and you have a business brain at all, you're probably like, what on earth was she thinking? And I was like, I'd rather give that space to rescue animals because I only really spend about 2 or 3 days a week working on my store. So to me, in my heart, it made more sense that that space go to animals that need somewhere to go, that will use it for every hour of every day, as opposed to me using it 2 or 3 days a week and then it just being unoccupied. Obviously still use the storage, but I wasn't going to use it every single day. So that kind of made more sense in my head, probably not to everyone. But I was perfectly happy just using the spare bedroom as my office still, and then just renting more external space for my store, which obviously would cost me money, but I didn't really care too much about that. So that was the plan. I was still happy with that, even though it would be a lot more small scale and I'd only be able to take in a couple of rabbits and a couple of guinea pigs at a time. I still felt like I was helping and doing something productive, so that was the plan until something else came up. And I'm not going to talk too much about this because it's still very early stages, but now we're moving. Now that probably sounds absolutely insane because, as I just said, we've not even been in this house for 2 years yet, but it will all make sense in a second. So we were asked if we would be interested in helping to take over running a family business, and that does involve living on site, and it's essentially on a farm, and that is something that was always our end goal in like 10 years time, was to have a house with land that we can have animals. Weren't expecting any opportunity like that to come up anytime soon. Sometimes in life you just have to say yes to things if it's what you want anyway, even if you weren't expecting it to be as soon as it is. So it is really exciting. It's also bittersweet because we love this house, we worked so hard to get this, and we've not even finished doing all of the things that we want to, or some things we've literally just finished doing. So it is kind of bittersweet, but mostly very exciting. But that's not happening anytime soon. It is going to be an entire process of transitioning over to that, but I just thought I'd mention that quickly because it does all tie in with everything else, with the rescue, also with YouTube. I might not have as much time trying to juggle everything to make weekly videos. I'm going to try my best to obviously keep doing that because this is my main source of income and I love making videos, but I also really want to focus more on my store in the next year or so because I'm going to have the space to do that. I'm going to have the space to expand to more products, so it's going to be really exciting. And of course, when it comes to the rescue, which was my main point of talking about all of this, I'm going to have space to do things properly and set things up properly for the animals. I can also maybe start taking on volunteers to help me handle everything. That's going to be really good. So I hope that makes sense. A lot of things have been happening. As you can imagine, my brain has just been on overload the past 2-3 months, trying to think about everything that I need to think about. I've been incredibly stressed, but things are all working out, things are starting to fall into place, and I'm very excited. But yeah, manifest me in like 5 years time in dungarees and wellies, tending to my alpacas outside. It's gonna be great. I've had a bit of a fail. I've seen people on Facebook hanging herbs in pots or like macrame hanger things on the side of the rat cage and then putting herbs and stuff in for the rats to have enrichment because it takes them a bit longer to get to the herbs and they can try to eat them through the bars. But they don't really sit quite like I thought. I saw these, they were cheap, and I thought that would be perfect, but the hook part just doesn't sit right. It just about, I also forgot that the bars go this way on my cage, so that doesn't help, but it just doesn't, hi Polo, it doesn't quite sit right. This one, I've put the herb in, and if it was sat kind of upright like this, the herbs wouldn't all fall this way and they could actually get to them. So what I could do instead of having this on the side of the cage for them to have enrichment, to try and reach this from inside the cage, I could move this around the other side. I can't get it out now. I could move this around the other side and they can have this hanging during their free roam. But weirdly, with this cage, I'm not sure what's going on. I did try to attach this exactly the same around the other side, but it just won't go through the gap. So I have no idea what's going on. Honestly, this cage, I will do like a whole proper review of this at some point. The bars on this are just absolutely awful. For the price you pay for this cage, they are so flimsy and not great, so no idea what's going on, but I'm going to try to move this around that side, I think. Like this, although I don't want them trying to climb on this because it is going everywhere. This, I think, is a complete fail. I'll try to find another alternative that actually sits properly, but in the meantime, I've got to give this to the mice now and the pots. I will try to find another purpose for them. I'm going to end this vlog here. I feel like it's been pretty long already. I also feel like I've not really filmed very much. I think because I did so much talking in the middle section, which I apologise. If you're still watching, well done. But I feel better that I've shared that because I am definitely an oversharer. I don't care who knows my business or not. I will just tell everyone everything, and I'm happy to do so, but trying to respect other people involved that have had to make decisions and sort things out, and then just trying to sort a bunch of things out myself. So I feel much better that you guys now know what the plan is over the next year or so. Nothing is going to happen overnight. I'm still here, still doing my things, still got other things that I need to do well before everything else, but very, very exciting moving forward that we now have plans in place to do some different things. I am very, very excited to, of course, share that as and when it comes, but I'm going to end this video here. Oh, also I've had a bunch of questions asking how the bioactive mouse enclosure is doing and if I can do an update. I think I'm going to do maybe a 6-month update because things are still up and down with it, still trying to process and learn things about it, and it's still kind of settling. So maybe about 6 months in I will do an update because it's not been straightforward. There has been moments where I've wavered a little bit and maybe been tempted to go back to regular bedding, so I'll do all of that in one big video, but for now it's doing okay. The mice are doing good, so that will be at some point. How long has it been? 2 months? 3 months? No idea, but I will do that at some point. But thank you so much for watching and sticking through that whole ramble about life and everything, and of course a big thank you to all of my channel members. I'll pop the names of the rats here on screen, but I feel like through our group chat on Instagram I'm also starting to become very personally invested in the lives of your pets too, so thank you so much for your support if you've joined the membership, and of course don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!